Good morning, everyone. Today our topic is called Overcoming Objections. I've had a lot of people ask me for this one, and so it was kind of fun to put together. I don't know if you know this, but when I put together these trainings, I do a lot of research ahead of time, and I kind of ask other people, I look online, and this one was a hard one to do because I don't think a lot of people actually like to deal with overcoming objections. We kind of want to put them to the side and say, I just hope they're not going to have an objection. If they do, we'll just ignore it and work with the other ones, right? That's kind of how I was at the beginning. So I think it's time to just like hit it on the head and let's do this. The information I found I thought was very cool and actually something that I was already doing. And it was nice to know I did a few things right along the way, right? So let's just get right into this and delve into it. So when we're talking about objections, really, it's just all about your mindset. It's a way of thinking in your head that may be different than what you already are thinking. So let me see if I can explain this a little bit. So if you're at a class and you hear an objection to something, say for instance, that they think it's too expensive or they're just not quite sure if this is for them, whatever that objection might be, is your mindset trying to think, ooh, I need to persuade them to do what you want them to do. I need to persuade them to buy a kit, I need to persuade them to really like oils, to try to, and you're gonna come up with all these other reasons why they need to do what you want them to do, okay? Is that your mindset? Or number two, is your mindset on truly helping them to get what's best for them? And the majority of the time, we're stuck on number one. Let me explain why I know we're stuck on number one. How many of you have ever been on Facebook and you may have put something out there that somebody didn't agree with you on? Are you immediately going to say, they don't agree with me? Let me see if I can understand their side and what they're thinking. Or do you immediately go, what? They don't agree with me? And then you're going to tell them all these reasons why they should agree with you and what they should do and why they should believe what you believe. Am I right? We're kind of stuck in number one. We want them to come to our side. We want to persuade them to believe what we believe and think what we think. I'll give you an example. I don't know how many of you know Roger Webb, and I'll just throw him under the bus on this one. We'll see if he actually watches this video, right? Roger, if you're out there, it's okay. I can give him a hard time every once in a while. He, on Facebook yesterday, put something about anybody who's drinking the Kool-Aid and still using their iPhone, because he's not an iPhone user. He actually used to be and then moved over to another one. I don't know what he uses. Anyways, and he was saying something about what he believes about the iPhone being not as good as whatever he had, okay? Which was kind of funny. It was actually quite a funny post, and I liked it, and I even commented on it. But in his mind, he was thinking everybody needs to be persuaded to use the phone that he uses, right? So the mindset was, iPhones are dumb, you should come use what I have. And had we all just kind of changed our mindset to, let me help them understand what it is that's best for them, what they need, what phone is best for them. Now, in the reality, it doesn't really matter what phone you use, which is why that was probably a good little one little story to use, because it doesn't really matter. And in the long run, we all know Roger truly does care when it comes down to things that matter for people. So that's just a little idea of kind of how we get into our mind. When somebody does not agree with what we say, we kind of get on our high horse and want to decide, no, my way is the right way, and I'm going to persuade you to it. So when we come to an objection at our class, we kind of have to change that mindset. And this is where it comes from. If you've ever read the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, habit number 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. So we're going to relate this to our class, to our business, to everything that we do within doTERRA, okay? People don't want to be overcome. They want to be understood. So let's just look at this for a little bit. If you have an issue with something, doesn't matter what it is, okay, or an objection, since we're talking about objections, and somebody says to you, no, you should be doing this or you should be doing that, are we automatically going to feel like, they are so right, I think I'm going to jump on their bandwagon? No, we get a little defensive, right? And think, no, and we're actually stronger on our own stance as to why we believe the way that we do. It is going to be so much easier if we can actually jump into their wagon and find out what it is that they believe. Why do they believe that? Why do they think that? And how can I help them to understand, okay? So let's look at the second one. Seek to do the right thing for the individual, even if it means that they don't engage in doTERRA. Did y'all get that? So the bottom line here isn't, well, I'm going to get them to enroll. I'm going to get them to have a class. I'm going to get them to join my business with me. If that's not the right thing that's for them, we're not truly helping them. So this is going to be a huge mindset that many of us have to change when we think about our business. So here's this mindset. Hear an objection? In your brain, you need to think, I need to learn more about this person, what their needs are. And what if you have to offer may be what they need, or it may not. Either way, it's totally okay. So if in your mind you think, okay, I'm going to help them with what they need, and if they never book a class, if they never enroll, and you're totally fine with that, that is the mindset you need to have. And this might be totally foreign to many of you out there thinking, but wait a minute, Diane, this is a business. I don't have time to ask questions and help everybody. I need to make money. I can't make money by helping everyone. Okay, I know there's some of you out there who are watching this thinking, yep, that's exactly what I thought. I don't have time to help everybody. I have got to make money because I have bills to pay, I have this to do, and I have whatever it is that you need to do. And I'll be honest with you, I was there as well. When I first started my business, I kept thinking, I have to get enrollments because I have to pay for this. I just placed an LRP order that I put on a credit card. In the beginning, I had to do that. I now need to make enough money to be able to pay for that loyalty orders, okay? So in my mind, I kept thinking I'm gonna need enrollment, and if they left and didn't enroll, it was devastating to me. I did not have the right mindset. So we're gonna talk a little bit today about changing that mindset and what we can do when there are those who have objections, what to say to them, the questions we ask, all of that. Now, I know there's a lot of deaf people who watch this, and I put this in for you, for our deaf team who are out there. This is the sign for frustrated, okay? So if you're listening to what I'm saying, you're like, but Diane, I don't get it. Well, we understand. So this is your sign. You totally, just to have that in there for fun, just for you guys. Okay, so what you have to offer really is what they need. So if you're feeling frustrated, like I don't have time to figure this out, what you have to offer is what they need. They just don't even know it yet. Again, that's another mindset. Do you believe that what you have truly will benefit them? Do you really believe that? Because that has to be what you truly believe. If you don't believe that, then you need to start all over again and start using the products and understand that we have what they need. Our job is really just to educate them and help them learn a little bit more so that they know this is what they need. They just don't know what they don't know. Okay, so there's two mindsets. Number one is we need to truly have the idea that we want to help them with whatever it is that they have, and that we do have something that will help them. Okay, two things we need to absolutely believe in our brain. Okay, so when you hear an objection, there's 4 things you need to do. Number one, smile. Okay, why do I say that? That's because a lot of times when you hear an objection, we kind of get stumped. My goodness. We get stumped and think, and then our brain has this kind of a glare on our face, like, I don't know what to say. If you just smile, awesome. It'll just come to you. Smile. Number 2, do not apologize. I don't know how many times I've heard people come up with an objection, and then they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I know you think such, I'm so sorry. And don't need to apologize. You didn't do a thing wrong. You're just helping them. And if they have an objection, that just means you're going to figure out how to help them with that objection, okay? No apologizing allowed, so don't ever say I'm sorry. Number 3, you're gonna get your mindset in the right place, okay? We're gonna think, okay, great, how am I gonna help them? And then number 4, you start asking questions. That is the best way to help anybody over their objection, right? So let's get into what questions we would ask with specific objections. So there's 2 kinds of objections we're going to talk about today. The objection to enrolling. So if somebody's at a class and they're like, well, I don't know about whatever, we'll talk about those. And the objections to the business, why they may not want to join you in the business. So let's first talk about the common objections to enrolling. So number 1, some of you heard this. Can I just take this home and look at it? Now, I used to get so frustrated with people who would do that. And I'm like, well, you're right here, just like enroll right now. Why don't you take it home? Okay, we're gonna talk about that. Number 2, I don't have any money, or this is too expensive. Okay, I'm sure you guys have heard that as well. Then number 3, I need to talk to my husband. I should have put that as number 1 because I really do hear that a ton. Need to talk to my husband or my spouse or whatever. So let's start with number 1. I need to take this home and look at it. Okay, so if somebody says this to you at the class, generally, It just means that they probably were there for the first time and their brain is so on overload that they can't even think, they don't even know what to do. And it really just means we need to help them, teach them, and if they take it home and need to process that, that's okay. But here's some things that we can do right there at the class when they say they need to take it home. Number one, always say, I understand. Because you want them to know that that's okay. We get this. It's not a problem. I understand, okay? And then here's another question. I have lots of oil customers who felt just like you. Did the information tonight overwhelm you a little bit? So you're just going to find out more information. If they say, yeah, it did, and then you'll find out, yes, they do need to take it home. They're the type of person who needs to digest it. Okay, just finding out more information. Yeah, that's fine. So from what you heard tonight, what was your favorite part? Just going to find out what did they like tonight and then start a conversation. And the last one, so let me send you home with some more information to read. What interests you the most from what you heard? I can write down some great websites or lead you to some great Facebook pages. So basically, you're going to start a conversation with them about what they did like, what their interests were, and from these questions, what you're going to do is find out what it is that they truly liked about the class, and it may not be that they need to take that home and think about it. Maybe you can give them the information that they need. And if it truly is that they need to take it home, fabulous, no problem, take it home. Just make sure that your job is to follow up with them, okay? So you're not going to resolve their question right now. You may or you may not. Either way, you're going to be able to help them by asking more questions. Okay, so let's go on to number two. Number two, I don't have any money or these are too expensive. So again, remember the first one we talked about last time was I understand. Same thing here, help me understand. These are too expensive compared to what? So maybe they have other oils at home that they got at Walmart or at Sprouts or something. So you're going to kind of ask that and say compared to what? What do they use? Maybe they belong to another company and this will kind of get that information open so you can talk about it. Number two, I hear you. The best products are often going to be the ones that you'll pay a little bit more for. Have you ever used other essential oils that cost less? Again, this can be similar to the first question that we have. Just going to find out detailed information about what they've used before and why they feel it's a little bit expensive. Okay, next question. So what do you use right now for your health care? This is going to find out a lot of information because when you find out that they maybe are on other prescription medications, it's a great time for you to go in, well, let's kind of add this up. Let's see how much this would cost for you. Okay, again, you're just finding out more information about them. Is it a cash flow issue or a budget issue? This is great information to find out because cash flow issue is totally different than a budget issue. Money that comes into your house that you truly just do not even have enough cash flow to even pay for the next meal is a true issue. But if it's a budget issue, you can actually work with a budget issue. They just may not have a budget right now for essential oils. And you can kind of help them and show them that, maybe book a class, maybe find a way to help them get it into their budget, right? But again, you wouldn't know that unless you ask that type of a question. So let's say money was no issue. Do you feel what you learned tonight could help you? Wow. Okay, so what we're saying is let's put money to the side. Let's just say that that was totally no issue and we solved your problem. Is this something that you're still interested in? Okay, by the way, you're not gonna ask all these questions. These are just some choices of different questions you could ask that could help you overcome the objection that they have. Okay, let's go on to number three. I need to talk to my husband. I don't know why, but this totally bothers me a lot. Maybe because I'm kind of an independent person. I'm like, just do it if you want it. Why do you have to ask your husband? But I totally understand. There's a lot of people who maybe have a budget and they've decided in their budget that they have to agree and talk about anything that they purchase together. I'm going to respect that and understand that this is how they are and it's okay. So number one, as you see on there, we put again, oh, I understand. I always answer with that. Always, because I want them to know I'm okay with what you're saying to me right now. It's okay. It's a way of validating them. Okay? If your husband were here tonight, what do you think he would say? Ha! Great way to just get a conversation going. If you had permission to get whatever you wanted, what would interest you the most? So basically, you're just getting out of them what they liked about the class, what it is that they thought was interesting, okay? And maybe you'll help them to understand that you really do need to get this and maybe kind of tailor it to what they're gonna talk to their husband about. Or Maybe you'll help them understand you really don't need to talk to your husband, because on their own they might decide, I think I do want this. Here's the deal. They may not really need to talk to their husband. That's just an excuse because they're not quite sure if they're ready to enroll right now. You may be helping them to find out if they are ready, and that may not be their real excuse. Okay. All right, last one. I get it. So I have other essential users who've also needed to talk to their spouse. So let's set up a class they can come to, or I'm happy to come to you, kind of do a one-on-one, which works best for you. So ask them a question. If they really want to talk to their husband, well, they may not have all the information that you do. So set up a time to meet with them or the husband at a class or one-on-one. That's awesome. Okay, moving on. So let's talk about objections to enrolling. So these are the top 3 things that I have heard. I don't have enough time, or they don't have enough money, or they don't like MLMs. All right, let's delve right into this. Number 1, so I don't have enough time to do this business. Again, I understand. Are you getting the theme of this? We want to validate them, let them know it's okay. So how much time do you think it takes to run this business? In their mind, they may be thinking that I work all day, constantly, nonstop. And the truth is there's seasons to this business, and they may not know that down the road, you're not going to be doing what you're doing right now, or what you're doing right now may not be at all what they think you're doing. You may be working 3 hours a day, and they think it's 20. So it's good to have that little conversation with them. Okay, the next one. You must have a very busy schedule. What do you do for work? So they're telling you that they don't have enough time. Find out what it is that they're doing. What's keeping them busy? What is it that they think they don't have enough time for? And let them know. In the beginning, I only did an hour a day. You can talk to them about the power hour. So you just kind of help them overcome the idea that's going to take a lot of time, and what is it's taking up their time right now. Okay, another question. Let's talk about that for a little bit. So help me understand you a little bit more. Tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you in this business? In other words, they may not even be interested at all, and that's just their excuse, right? I've had that before. People will say to me, well, I just don't have enough time. That's really not their excuse. They really just are not interested. So when you ask that question on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you? And they say a 2, then you really know that it's not about the time. And that tells you a lot about, should I really work on this person a little bit more, find out more information, or kind of just leave it to the side because they're truly not interested. Okay, another question you could ask. If time were not an issue, how interested would you be in this business? You could either find out another issue they have. So say they have all the time in the world. They might say, well, I don't have enough money, or you'll find out more issues that come about. So this really may not be an issue for them, or it might. Again, you're just finding out more information and details. Okay, the last one, if I were to resolve your concern of having enough time, is there anything else holding you back from doing this? Again, just another question to find out more information about them and really what their thoughts are about doing this as a business. Okay, so let's look at number 2. I don't have any money to start a new business. I hear this a lot. Do you guys hear this a lot? I don't know what they're thinking, because anytime you start a new business, it's going to take money. So again, I always say, I understand your concern. How much money do you think it takes to start and maintain this business? They may think that they have to buy a diamond kit, okay? And you don't. That would be awesome if they did. But anybody can start this business with just a physician's kit. And that is a whole heck of a lot less than starting any other business. I don't know how many of you know, when I started my piano business, it cost me about $10,000 to get set up, because everybody had to have their own keyboard and all the music that I had to order and to redo my whole piano room. It was a lot of money, and that was pretty inexpensive compared to many people who start their own business. So a lot of people may not understand that or know that. Okay, the next one. I get it. So what if there was a way for me to show you how you can make enough money in your first 6 weeks to pay for the startup of your business? Wow. They may not know that that's even an option. Okay. All right, next one. So let's talk about this. Have you ever started your own business before? If they say yes, then ask them, how much did that cost you? Guarantee it's going to be more than $135, $150, whatever it costs. And if they say no, then you can say, well, let's talk about how much it normally costs to start a new business. Again, that's just kind of opening their eyes to the actual cost it takes to start a new business. Great way to start a conversation with somebody, right? We're just trying to open the conversation and build trust with them. Okay, the last question that you might ask, if money issues were no longer a concern, is there anything holding you back from doing this? Notice that I've ended all of these with this type of a question. I want to know, if we're going to put this on the shelf and we've resolved your concern, is there anything holding you back? Are you ready to jump in? Is this something that's for you? In other words, I do not want to keep helping somebody resolve a concern, go get over their objections if that's really not their true concern. So we're going to put that on the shelf and find out if there's anything more to it. All right, so number 3, I like the product, but I don't like MLMs. Okay, number 1, I understand your feelings. I actually felt the same way. So tell me more about what you think an MLM is. Find out what's in their brain, what's going on, what are they thinking this is? Do they think it's a pyramid scheme? And find that out before you offer any suggestions or give your opinion, trying to persuade them to your side. Find out what they actually think. Okay, so number 2, what is it about MLMs that you don't like? Just put it out there and ask them that question. The next one, if I were able to resolve your concern with MLMs, is there anything else that is holding you back from giving this a try? Here's that same question that we had before. You're going to put it to the side and find out, is this his true concern or is there another concern? Okay, and the last one, can I share with you my thoughts about MLMs and how my feelings changed about them? So I'm going to just take a guess that many of you listening to this right now may have had that same concern about MLMs. However, if you're actively doing this business right now, you obviously got over that concern, right? It is very, very helpful for you to share your feelings about how you felt before versus how you felt now and how you overcame that. That helps a lot of people to understand, oh, she felt the same way. Great for validation. You're not trying to persuade them to come to your side. You're simply explaining to them, I used to feel just like you and what you did. That is a huge way to help people overcome and understand that this MLM is a little bit different than what you may think. So let me help you out to understand that. So everything in this business comes down to trust. So notice, everything that I'm talking about right now, all was building trust. You're simply trying to help them understand what it is that you have to offer, okay? And you're opening their mind and brain a little bit so that you can help them with what they need. You're not trying to persuade them to come to my side. You're not trying to say, but you need these vitamins. Oh, but you need this. Maybe they don't. And you're going to find out that information and you're going to build trust. But deep down, once you find out what they need, we do have what they offer. We're just going to need to educate them a little bit. But in doing that, it builds trust. And that is what we're trying to do here. You want people to have that trust in you, to know it's not in it for me, I'm in this for you. So when people feel you have their best interest at heart, you earn their trust. And that in turn earns loyalty. People will naturally gravitate to you. You will always have customers for life. So when you have that mindset that we were talking about, if I want to help you, I want to find out what works best for you, they will feel that from you. They'll have that passion and they will know that, hey, she's somebody that I want to work with. And that's a customer for life. Okay, so I have a little personal story here. And this personal story was when I was traveling to, gosh, I think this was during Diamond Club. I can't remember, that's all kind of a blur. But I was traveling to an area and there was a lady, I went to a class and there was a lady there who said, I have a friend who I think would be interested in, you know, what you have. Are you able to come with me and go to her house and talk to her? I said, sure. And I didn't have a lot of time because I was traveling and in my mind I was thinking, okay, I don't have a lot of time to meet with her one-on-one, but I'll do this. So I went over to her house. And as I sat there, the lady, gosh, how do I explain this? She had a stone face, almost like she was like not into this, but her friend made her. Anybody ever met with somebody like that? I almost felt like this feeling of, I'm sorry I'm here. I wanted to apologize. I'm sorry. She probably thought I was a sales lady coming to try to sell her something. I'm not sure what was in her brain, but I could tell from her demeanor and just the way that she wasn't really happy about me being there. Well, I sat down with her and I talked to her and her friend kind of told me a little bit of the issues she was having. And I said to her, this is what I would recommend. Dun, 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 dun. I said, however, tell me a little bit about you. Tell me a little about what you think. And I found out her story. I found out where she got this ailment from. I found out why it bothers her so much, what it holds her back from doing in her life at this moment, and how she feels about it. By the time we were done in that conversation, that woman had tears in her eyes. And I know that she truly felt that I cared about her, and that I cared about her health and that her well-being. At the end of this little meeting, it took about an hour. She didn't enroll. She didn't want to book a class. She didn't seem like she was interested at all. Even though I know that she felt that I cared about her, I think that she still had her little guard up. So I left that night, and I thought, okay, well, I hope she's okay. And I really was concerned about her health, and because the fact that she had been crying and told me her whole story, and I left. Well, get this, the very next day, she called me. I left with an A to Z guide. She called me and she said, Diane, can I just tell you something? When you came over to my house, I had no intentions at all of ever getting essential oil. I thought they were crazy. I thought that you coming over was crazy. I was not happy with my friend who had you come over, and I did not need a salesperson coming to my house. But can I tell you something? I felt like you were truly interested in me and what I was concerned about and what my health issues were. So when I was determined that day I was not going to buy anything at all. But I feel like I can trust you, and you're not going to lead me the wrong way, and that you truly cared about me and what was concerning me. This woman spent over $1,000, and it was all because I left fully knowing that what she needed for herself, she had that in her, and that I was not there to sell her anything. I was there concerned about her. I would have completely missed out on that sale had I was in it just for me and was upset that she didn't want to order anything at that time. She needed to find out if I truly cared about her and that if she could trust me. So anytime we're looking at objections that people have, cost too much money, which, by the way, this lady told me she didn't have any money. Isn't that interesting? And then she spent over $1,000. She told me she didn't have very much time when I first came in the room, okay? And yet I spent an hour with her. Isn't that interesting? Didn't have time and didn't have money. Now, she wasn't married, so she couldn't use the story of let me talk to my spouse. But those two things, those objections, we overcame because I simply helped her know that I care about her, I was interested in her, and what worked best for her. So I want you all to remember that story. I will never forget that, and that really changed my mind about it doesn't matter if I leave right now and they did not enroll. Doesn't matter if right now they didn't book a class. They may down the road. It doesn't matter if they say they're not interested in the business. They may down the road, because they're trying to find out if I'm a person they can trust and if I truly do care about them or my bottom line. So here's a review. Somebody has an objection. You're going to smile, okay? Think of these pictures, a little smiley face. Do not apologize. Put the hand up and think, okay, I'm not going to apologize. I didn't do anything wrong. When you apologize, what you're saying is, what I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry that I'm doing this. There is nothing to be sorry about. You need to be very proud of the job that you have and what you do and what you offer to people. Do not apologize. And number 3, get in the mindset, okay? I'm here to help them. What can I do for them? What is it that I can offer them? It has to be about them. And then start asking questions to them about what they need. And that is how you're going to overcome somebody's objection. Okay, I hope you learned a lot. Next week, our topic is ideas to fill your calendar. That's October 14th. Same time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or that's Arizona time. We're typically Mountain Time, just so you all know if you're a little confused. But right now, because we don't go on Daylight Savings Time, we're Pacific Time. That will be changing in a little bit. I don't know what the date is, but it will. So I'm going to open up the lines here. Actually, I'm just going to open up the chat and see if anybody has any questions for me about overcoming objections that maybe we didn't know about. And I'm going to put this actually on a stop share so we can kind of see your faces. There we go. Ta-da! There's a lot of people on here. Okay, so let's go in the chat line and let's see if anybody has any questions for overcoming objections and what we just had. So Laura Lunt says, thanks for the topic. Yay. Thanks, Laura. Glad you were on. Any other questions that you might have for me on this topic of overcoming objections? Wow, I take that as a compliment. We covered everything. You guys don't need any more. Another thank you, Diane. Great training. Okay, maybe tell me some insights. Okay, well, hold on. We have a question here. Can you give an example of how you show you care about them without? So I know you have something more coming, Lisa. Without what? Okay, she didn't finish her question on here, sorry. Without suggesting products. Okay, that's a great question. The way you show that you care about them is by asking questions. So I always do suggest products. You want to suggest products because what we have is going to help them. So when they say, well, for instance, there was somebody who said, I get frequent headaches. And what I did was I actually had a list right there, and I said, I'm going to just make a list of everything you tell me. I have frequent headaches. Okay, anything else? And they would tell me, yeah, sometimes my stomach hurts. Okay, let's write that down. Sometimes your stomach hurts. Okay, you have whatever. And just write them all down, and I'll make a list with them. And this is typically during a one-on-one, by the way. And then they know, wow, she's really listening to me. Like, this woman is writing down the information I'm giving her. She's listening to me. And then I'll say to them, do you want me to give you some ideas of what you can use for those? So I always ask them a question. Very, very important to ask them questions, because then you're giving permission to answer them, right? You're not just going to, I don't know, I call it bulldozing, but just blurt it all out and tell me this and this and this. And then I will tell them, okay, for headaches, I would offer this. For your stomach issues, I would offer this. And then you send them home with, this is what you need specifically. Okay, I don't know if, hopefully that answered your question right there. They know who you are. They know that you're there and that you are with doTERRA and that you have essential oils and that you're teaching a class about it. So your job, you're really just teaching them. You're not selling them. So I think we have to get that mindset in our head out as well. I'm not selling them anything. I am teaching them something. And if they decide that they want to get a wholesale account, that's 100% their choice to do if they want to. My job was to teach them. So again, that's another mindset. Okay, any other questions we have? Any breakthroughs that maybe some of you heard that you thought was, wow, I never thought of that before, that you want to share with us? Or maybe you have another objection that we did not cover. Okay, sounds like we've covered them all. Thank you all for being on the call. I appreciate that. I hope that we will see you all next week. Thank you. See ya.